to the podcast, the dog shit camera podcast, where oh hi yes Falcon. Sorry, I was doing introductions, but the keybind I have for muting my microphone also slows down the playback speed of the podcast theme song at the moment. So as I went to unmute myself, Frauenhead plunge and fix it there, alright. Yeah, no, not great. Everything is broken. I haven't fixed it from last week. I'm still mostly deaf in my right ear, uh, but I'm feeling much better. So that's neat.
That is great. Just dealing with new streaming software now. If you had to choose, would you rather be sick with streaming software that works or be healthy with streaming software that doesn't work?
Yeah, what I had versus what I am.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Oh,
That's a good way to put it.
I think I'd rather be healthy with streaming software that doesn't work because I can just stop streaming.
Hmm.
Like I can just give this up. Like
That's true. And you can't just be like, I'm done being sick now.
right.
That's it. Bye. See you later, sickness. Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy podcast day, sir.
Happy podcast day to you too.
It is good to be here. I'm in a good mood because the air conditioning in my car stopped working last week, and I was like, oh no.
That is
Because depending on
always.
the actual problem, it could be $1,000 or more to fix.
Yeah, no, that's always great to have happen. Yeah.
But it was just like $75 to fix. So
You
hooray!
just need it to be refilled.
Yeah. And apparently there was a tiny leak in one of the hoses
Okay.
that didn't necessitate the replacement of the entire hose. Just could be like a repair apparently. So yeah. So it would, could have been a lot worse based on what I was looking at online, and all good. And
Oh,
it is August, and it's a freaking 100 degrees plus about 3 out of 4 days here. So having air conditioning is excellent when you're driving around.
yeah. Motorcycle.
On
No,
board.
no AC, no heating. Either way.
Right. That's because you're a crazy person. But for the rest of us, heating and cooling in our modes of transportation is considered something that we value.
I feel like crazy person is a bit harsh.
I mean, we can ask. Leave a comment if you think that riding around in a bike all year, 365 days a year, no matter how cold it is or how hot it is, and is that something that an average person would do, I guess is the question.
I mean, no, not an average person. A crazy person. Is that something a crazy person will do? Because I don't think that's fair.
Okay. How do we soften this up a bit?
How do we make it more appealing to get the desired result?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think I agree with you. Like, crazy is like put you in a mental institution, right?
Right, right. Like,
I don't think it's that bad.
I get an Uber when it's raining. I'm not.
Oh, okay. But if it's like 45 degrees Celsius, you're like, nah, this is great. Nope, I lost you. You mute on me? Your microphone died?
And I charged the motherfucker too. Like, I explicitly put it on charge.
You were having a good time streaming today.
I wanna,
Wow.
I wanna bash my head into a brick wall. It's great. Yeah, loving it. But let's move on. Yeah, no. If it's 45 degrees out, I'll just like undo the top button on my jacket, and let a little airflow in. It's great.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm glad we got that figured out. Oh, see, you're back, Aki
Yeah.
says.
Yep, I'm back.
Excellent. All right. Anyway, so yeah, good news. Could have been worse. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
We do have some Warhammer to talk about today.
Just a little. Only 16 novellas did we read.
I know, but it's about the size of one of the books that we read, so
Sure.
yeah. I would say about average based
Yeah,
on the page
no.
count that Kindle is giving me.
Yeah, no. The audiobook was only about 11 hours, which puts it on
Yeah,
the mid-tier size, I think. Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, it is 16. And I mean, I brought this up when we were streaming StarCraft. It's like, they're short. Like other anthologies that we've read, I feel like there's a little bit more meat on the bone. But these ones, most of them, I was like, oh, all right. I'm
I think
learning who these characters are. I'm getting to know their motivations. It's like then something happens and it's like the end. And I'm like, oh, right, Anthology.
So I think the last anthology we read was the Primarchs, which was only like a 4-book, you know,
Right,
and it was like,
right.
here's a very short contained story. Here is like, this is as an example, Severed Soul, or the Soul Severed, which is just like, here is Eidolon. The, Fulgrim's gone. Eidolon wants control. He can scream really loud. He has control of the Legion. And that's why the Emperor's Children make it to Terra. That's all it's
Right.
telling you. It's like, Fulgrim is
Yes.
fucked off. He's doing something, but like, he's a demon Primarch. He's not really concerned with even getting to Terra anymore.
Yeah.
Like his...
Which okay, yeah. I was wondering if you knew more about this. Like there was other books that explain what's going on here, but apparently not.
So I think one of the books we've still read, Path of Heaven, will explain more.
Okay.
Because I think they're in that. I'm not sure. I haven't read it, but like, here's what I know: Fulgrim ends up on Terra. Like it happens. His
Oh.
Legion is there.
Okay.
He's there. But like, he's just...
They're like Umbrella Academy meme with the two people in the cars passing each other, looking and like, the Legion's like, is that Fulgrim? And they're like, is that my Legion?
No, I think he's there in control of his Legion, right? Like he's...
Oh, okay.
he
That's
knows.
less funny.
It is less funny. It is less funny.
Gotcha. Because like I could totally imagine Fulgrim being like, sweet, I ascended to Demon Princehood. This is awesome. I don't care about anything else. I'm gonna run around and just do demon stuff. It's like, okay. I mean, that fits with your personality, man. Like,
It does. Yeah.
and then somehow he ends up on Terra. Like, what? He gets like dragged there. Horus is like, Fulgrim, you get your ass over here right now.
You know, non's there a chance that he has like your mind to control? You're gonna be there whether you like it or not. That's not entirely impossible. So,
But we don't know.
we'll find out. We'll read the next
Okay,
couple
good.
books. Like,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah, so it's
Soul's
incredibly short. It takes place in one location. There's like some
A fight.
dialogue. Yeah, a fight, the end.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
kind of how it is for all of the books as well.
Some of them are a little more drawn out, but yeah, for the most part, I agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of it too, I definitely get the feeling like we need to set some things up as to how characters got to where they are later. Or, yeah. So I mean, like, I don't have the context for a lot of this, but I feel what you're doing, guys.
Right. It's probably a side effect of us jumping to the 52nd book in the series. Like, this was released book 52 out of like 55, right?
The afterward, they're like, we have 2 more books to go before we're done. So, well, no, 2 more books before we get to the beginning of the end, I believe is what Gavthorpe said.
The Siege of Terra, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so did any of these stand out to you? Did you have a particular favorite?
A favorite.
I
I really enjoyed the one with the Thunder Warriors.
Yes.
I love the
Dreams of
concept that
Unity.
like most of the Thunder Warriors are dead. They were murdered or their bodies disintegrated. But like either way, the Emperor has no use for them anymore. But like this tiny handful of them are like in the depths of Terra, like down beneath the surface, just like trying to eke out a living as gladiators. But like knowing that their death is coming, and one of the things they keep saying is we've lived too long, and it's like, yeah, probably accurate assessment of the situation.
Right.
Yeah. I like that one. Yeah, and so then it basically turns out that like some cultists have managed to get down there too on Terra, and they're summoning demons.
Well,
and
there was an Alpha Legionnaire. There was an Alpha Warrior. Like, the thing that he helps the Custodian fight,
yeah,
it's like all the cultists all have Hydra tattoos on their heads and stuff. And
Yeah.
the thing was like a possessed Alpha Warrior, Alpha Legion guy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's extra rough then.
Yeah, so like the Alpha Legion is still on Terra, still seeding chaos cults and doing shit, I guess.
Whew. Right under the Emperor's nose, man. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Terra's a big place. You can't be everywhere.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, so then, this Thunder Warrior, like, he's watched all of his friends die, and they go crazy and start thinking they're back participating in previous battles and, like, slaughtering innocent people all around them, and it's tough. Yeah, so he ends up fighting this possessed Alpha Warrior, saves the Custode who's fighting it, and then the Custode kills it,
Gives him
and
the
then he's
honorable
like, "You're a Thunder Warrior. Like, I thought you were all dead." And he's like, "We are." Like, you're very, very dead. And I was like, that's a fair way to put it, dude. Like, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, he asked for honorable death. And Custode's like, absolutely. You are not supposed to be alive.
The Emperor gave us the job to kill you all. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
be. Thanks
Like,
for the save, but like this is coming whether you want it or not.
Yeah, you running around reflects poorly on my job performance. So that one was cool. I like that a lot.
I really like how all of the Thunder Warriors in this are like slipping back into their memories of when they were like in their prime, and like, it's kind of heartbreaking to be like, but they're just loyal to the Emperor. They just believe in unity so much, Falcon.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, even after they've been cast aside and all their friends have been murdered, like, they're still genetically programmed to be like, the Emperor's the best. Unity is amazing. And it's just like, oh man, this is rough. So anyway, that was a good one. How about you?
I'm trying to look at the names and be like, which one was it? I think it was Duty Waits by Guy Haley, which is there are Imperial Fists, just like, we walk along the walls and we have to give our names and a code word every hour, and it takes hours to get anywhere. And there's this other, like, it's all kind of from the viewpoint of like Captain Thane, but then there's this other guy who's like, yes, I am a new Space Marine because we can't get recruits from Inuit. I am from the Nord Afric conclaves or something. And he's just like, I've been here 2 years. I hate staring at screens. I've never once been in a battle because I'm just stuck on Terra. And then they get
waiting for Horus to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's like a riot because there's not enough food to go around for like the rest of the people on Terra, like all the civilians. And so the Astartes are deployed. And he's like, this is my first time pointing my bolter at a living thing. And it's the people I'm meant to defend. And I'm like, the Imperium's great. There are lots of people who genuinely think the Imperium are the good guys. Read this book, please.
Yeah, I mean, like, our veteran Space Marine guy is like, look, we need someone to quell this riot. Space Marines are not equipped to do this. We're not good talkers.
Nope.
We suck. We're good at murdering things, and that's not what we need here. And it's like, boy, I sure hope, one of the regular non-Space Marine people that are in charge over there know what they're doing, and they're not making this worse, and they're making it worse. And it's like, great. Fantastic. So, like, one, like, he realizes the right way to do the thing. He's not just like, riot, burn it down. You know what I mean? And two, he's part of it's like, yeah, we're going to be attacked at any second here. Like, we cannot afford distractions. We are on the eve of being invaded by a force that can probably kill us all. Like, we need order at this point, and these people writing about food is not helping with that. So we got to get rid of it. Like, from a purely logical, purely like battle tactics only, no empathy, no humanity perspective. Like, yeah, it makes sense. I could totally see a human commander on Earth do the gosh darn same thing. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, I don't. The Space Marines insert themselves into that situation though. They're like, scanning the comms, and they're like, they haven't requested backup, right? And like the Space Marines are like, okay, but let's just do it anyway. Like, we can help out here. Like, they insert
Also, we
themselves.
are so bored.
They are incredibly bored, yeah. And
Yeah.
it arguably not at risk there. Like, they're throwing rocks and like I think one of them throws like a dead weasel or something like at them. It's like these 7 foot tall armor clad tanks of people. They're not in any danger here.
No, absolutely not. No,
No.
not without a doubt. Yeah, so that's a good point. I don't know. And then like at the end of it, he's like, let's scrounge up some food that we have and send it to the people around.
Let's see if the Legion can spare anything.
Yeah. And then the response to that is like, you can't. What does he
Blood
say?
with bread.
Yeah, that's a good line.
It's a good line.
Yeah. And he's like, do it anyway. Screw you.
Yeah, feed the people.
So they're,
yeah. So.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this book is very much like Horus is coming. We don't know when, but boy howdy, is he on his way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've been done preparing for a while now, and we're getting kind of sick of this. Yeah, there's a great line in there where it's talking about that dude, that new Space Marine, where it's like, within 2 weeks, he's gonna like wish for the times when he was staring at screens and bored out of his skull.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, probably.
In
that
7
makes
months,
sense.
he'll be dead.
Yeah, and that, right.
Oh, it's good, yeah.
Yeah, Space Marine like idly calculating if he jumped off of this giant wall, how long would it take him to hit the ground?
What are his
Would
chances
he
of
survive? If he lands on a civilian, they're definitely dead, but it improves his chance of survival by 25%.
He considers that he might be bored.
Yes. Yeah.
It's good book. I like that one.
That one was good. We get another Shard of Magnus story.
We do, yeah.
On Terra.
Mm-hmm. Last Son of Prospero. So this one evidently picks up after like the White Scars have gotten to Terra, which we have not read them getting there. But spoilers: Jagatai ends up on Terra.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently with the aid of a White Scar sorcerer, probably leading them through the warp somehow. If I had to guess, context clues.
Yeah, sure.
But the flesh change has overtaken him, and Malcador's like, we could merge him with this Magnus shard we've got lying around. That might fix him.
Malcador's like, let's go. Science.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, it's not working. Shut it down. And then Khan's like, nope. This is my buddy. Yeah, he's my best friend. I owe him one. We can't just let him die.
Right.
And then he's a Primarch, so like, yeah, all right, man. Like, I can tell you no, but that's not going to change anything about what happens here.
Right. Yeah, but it kind of works, kind of doesn't. We end up with a new Space Marine who is not quite this Arvida and not quite Magnus.
Right. It's like an amalgamation of both.
Mm-hmm. So I know what that guy essentially is. It's another like. Here is someone who is another founding member of the Grey Knights.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask because they're like, here's a name, and I'm like, nope, I got nothing.
No, you wouldn't. But yeah, that's like a lot of like whenever Malcador's involved in like with a couple of Space Marines at the moment, it's always like he's recruiting for the Inquisition or the Grey Knights. It's one of the two, right?
Okay, sure.
Especially when you have other books like The Grey Raven. It's like, okay, what is, there's a Raven Guard who's like on his way to Terra to find Malcador and be like, Korax had me do psychic bullshit, but I'm here to ask for your forgiveness because
right.
That makes sense.
Because the Council of Nicaea.
Right. And when they get there, they're like on their ship. They have a custodian or like a squad of custodians. I don't know. There's probably a story around where this guy came from. and the custodians are like, code word Cicatrax or whatever, and the custodians are like, kill the Psyker, except not. It's more like chase him down and pretend you're going to kill him
Oh,
and make
like
him break his oath
100%.
again.
Yeah, absolutely. Give every indication you want him dead.
Right. And then at the last minute, when he's broken his oath again, he's like, "Ah, good, we've broken his oath to Korax to never use his psychic powers. Maybe Malkador could use another hand." It's like, okay,
Yeah.
great. You could have just asked him if you wanted to help out Malkador.
Definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a stupid shenanigans going on with Malkador with this whole thing. But he's basically like, I need someone who has. I mean, part of it is need someone who has the ability to like come up against this, come up to the level where you're gonna go nuts, but then be able to pull yourself back from it, right?
Right.
So that's part of it for sure.
Again, a really, really short book. It's like a fight scene and a chase through like a ship, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It's just not much more to it.
It's definitely good.
What did you think of the Painted Count? I know you love the the Night Lords so much.
Yeah. It was Night Lord bullshit. It was a lot of Night Lord bullshit. I did like the relationship with the sword, though.
Yeah.
Because he's like... So there's this sword in his room, and he's like, I hate that sword. And you're like, okay, cursed sword, got it. Like, some warp touch demon garbage is going on here.
Like, we were there when he got that sword, because he was in the Pharos book.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. He was given the sword.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And he's been trying to get rid of it. And, like, the first thing we see him do is, like, I'd like to go to an airlock and throw the sword out into the void, please. And his servant, his, I don't know, disciple buddy.
His adjutant, yeah.
That he hates. Is like, okay, that's crazy, but all right, man.
And he's like, you're going out there without your helmet. Dude, your helmet. And he's like, nope. Thwop. And just yeets this sword out into space, and then, like, a minute later, it's on his hilt again, at his
Right.
hip.
Yeah. And I mean, based on the way he reacts to getting it out to the void, he's not like, woohoo, I win. He's like, might as well give this a shot.
Right.
It looks like it worked, but I've been here before.
We get a short list of, like, things he's done to try to get rid of the sword. It's like, throw it in a furnace, throw it in a plasma reactor.
Yeah, like drop it into the bowels of the engine of the ship.
Right. And
Yeah.
it just keeps finding its way back to him. And he's like, okay, it's a cursed sword. And then he's, like, demanding a right to be the leader of the Legion? Because they think Conrad's dead, because he just up and vanished at the end of one of the books, just to hang out.
It's a very Fulgrim situation, yeah.
Yeah, no. But, like, we know he's alive. He's just been, like, hiding on McCrag and being like, I'm going to go break into Sanguinius's bedroom and whisper things in his ear.
That's true. He incurs.
Right. So
yeah. So basically, yeah. So he's gone as far as his legion is concerned, and the Night Lords are like, well, someone has to be in charge, and the way we do this is we kill each other. That's how we figure this stuff out. It's like, yes,
well,
this is in line with how you guys do.
There was a council they were going to elect, and they didn't want him there, so they drugged him and put him in the maze, the labyrinth.
Yes, the labyrinth. That was Vulcan's labyrinth.
Yeah, that Perturabo.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I can't find my way out, but the sword's here, so that's cool.
He's like, I really don't want to use the sword, but I feel like my odds of getting out of here are about 0 without the sword.
Right.
He's like, this was built for someone way smarter and way more powerful than I am. This is not going to go well for me. And I'm like, good call. Yeah, actually. Good self-awareness there, man. Yeah, so he picks up the sword and he's like, all right, you win.
Show me
Let's go. And the sword's like, sweet. I'll give you everything you want.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So the sword
shows
him the way out.
Yeah, and I like the part where they get to like the combination lock door.
Right.
And he's like, Not smart enough for this. Sword, you got this? And Sword's like, no.
Do you know the? Nope. I guess I'll just
Nope.
start cutting through the bulkheads. You know.
Yeah, just cutting the bolts.
I like that it's very descriptive that not only is he just cutting the bolts, he's standing on his he like takes off his armor's giant shoulder pads to stand on them.
Yeah, because the ones up at the top of the door are too high for him to reach. Yeah, that's great.
No.
Yep. So he gets back to the council and he's like, surprise, fuckers, I'm back. You try to do this without me.
Kills all the guards to get in, and they're all
Yeah.
like, even if you did have a right to be here, what madman kills the guards to the meeting he's trying to attend? And it's like, you're Night Lords. That's gotta be like that's a Tuesday.
That's what I said. I was like, you're Night Lords. You have no reason to be offended by this. I figured they weren't actually offended by it. They just didn't like him. And they were like,
It's possible. It's possible.
I'm just mad because you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
So then he's like, fight me, guy, who's the other leading candidate to be
Shang.
in charge. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
And the dude's like, he's pretty confident. He's like, I'm a better fighter than you are. So, like, let's get this over with, you dummy.
yeah, I think he's also in like Terminator armor, so he's like,
Yeah, he's feeling all right.
yeah, he's got
Who
gear
wears
on his
Terminator armor to a meeting?
people who
Night Lords.
some Night Lords, yeah. Like wearing Terminator armor has been like a symbol of honor in all the legions, right? So it's like the first company are all the Terminators, so it's like a status thing, and
Okay.
like everything in Night Lords is all about reputation. So if you like, that's why Skybox even like declaring his right. He's like, I killed one of the Atramenta. I have a right to be here. The Atramenta are all the Terminator armor people of the Night Lords Legion.
Yeah.
So like.
And the counter to that is like, he was old and garbage, and you killed him, and it was easy, so it doesn't count.
Right. Which, yeah.
Which I thought was funny. I'm like, so is it you kill this guy and you get it, or apparently there are some stipulations here that are really important to this rule. If it's too easy, no.
Apparently not.
Fine, whatever.
It's very Dune 2, where he's like, yeah, kill me. There'll never be a better time, you know?
Yeah, it really felt that way.
Yeah, but Shang tries to fight him. The sword gives him power. He kills Shang. They go, oh wow, he's actually a really good fighter. When did that happen? And it's like, when did that
He
happen?
moved so fast.
And then he has a speech delivered with his mouth and his tongue, but maybe not his words, about how the warp's great and you should all embrace the warp, and that's where true power lies.
Right.
So what I am gonna say is Scribelock popped up in like one of the first couple of Siege of Terror books, and I hadn't read the painted count or all the stuff so far, so I was just like, who is this guy? But this tracks. Like, this is he has some like a really great payoff in the first couple of books where it's like he is basically a guy who's like leeching power from the sword and killing people and bites off way more than he can chew because of it. It's great. I love every minute of it. Because fuck this.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Painted count. It's great. Go read it around.
Yeah, I do like that the Night Lords are generally like, witch magic is garbage. Screw that stuff.
Yeah, kind of. They don't like. They never lean in and pick a particular god, and most of them are definitely renegade marines, right? But like, are kind of atheists. Like they don't pick a.
Yeah.
They don't like. No, we should all totally be worshipping Slaanesh. It's like maybe one of the marines in their squad does, or you know, if they lead over several squads, maybe there is a squad of them. But like not
Right.
all of them. They mostly just want to like reave and plunder and be pirates and have their own little worlds.
Flay people alive. You don't
Yeah.
really need a specific god behind you to do that. So
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is just funny because this, I mean, whatever demons in that sword is like, man, it's hard to recruit Night Lords. These guys are just resistant to this whole thing. Like, how can we do this? And they did it. They got in.
They got it
Hooray!
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just have to
So
hand
it's a
out
great
+1 magic
victory.
swords. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then eventually one of them will be in charge, and then you can yell about how great the warp is to everyone, and then job done.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny plan. Funny plan. What else was in here? There are so many. There are so many.
There's so many. How did you feel about the borders set? By
Oh.
You didn't like it? Oh, I loved it. I really enjoyed that.
I don't like stupid magic chess where you don't understand the rules and magic bullshit's happening the whole time, and it's
Well,
more a metaphor for everything else that's going on and the
sure.
relationship between the Emperor and Malkador. And I was like, not really on board.
I was totally on board because, like,
Okay,
the Emperor's, like, stuck in his chest, so he can't go and talk to him, right? And so,
correct.
not only are they in a metaphysical place having a conversation, they then still need to obfuscate, like, the conversation into a game of chess. Which
Yes.
I felt was really, like, really Emperor, where it's like Malkador says it's like he's all-knowing, but he's also just, like, utterly impeachable in, like, whether or not he knows everything or knows nothing, and he just wants to hide all of his plans and shit. It's like, okay,
Yes.
you're already in a secret communion where nobody could spy on what you're saying, but you just still also want to make him play the game? And the game is chess, but instead of pieces, you draw tarot cards, which the Emperor infuses with magic to represent something, and then you get to play the piece?
Sure. That's where I ended. I was like, what? Okay, I guess. Here we go.
Right, but it's basically kind of a recap of, like, why doesn't the Emperor do this, or why does the Emperor do this? And, like, Sanguinius has visions back in Macragge that he's like, oh, if I go to Terra, I'm gonna fight Horus and die. And then in this, like, the sacrifice card is a bloody wing, and then you have to move the King of Hearts when that's Sanguinius. And then,
Right.
so, you know, it's I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun just getting a little recap of why things are like this and what's going to happen. And
Okay,
the,
so
the
it's just justifying events during the Siege of Terra? That's the whole point of this thing?
I wouldn't say justifying. It's prophesizing.
Yeah. Sure. That's just what I mean by that. I don't mean justifying as in it's wrong. I mean justifying as in like you said, here's why this happens this way.
I don't like. Okay, so all of the individual events, right? Like, Sanguinius is he's foreseeing his own death, right? Back on Macragge, he tells the Lion and Guilliman this, that it's like the Emperor has to be alive because I die to attacking or saving the Emperor or something, right? He has that, and that's why they're able to convince him, because Conrad also says that the Emperor's alive, and
Right.
Conrad
Right.
says the Emperor will send an assassin, and that can't happen if the Emperor's already dead. It's the very climactic end of that book, right?
It is. Yes.
The events of Sanguinius dying still feel like a choice and like a lead of decisions that happen in the moment, right?
Yeah.
It's not because they played a card game and said, well, looks like Sanguinius is going to die, and therefore it is, right?
Right. No, I meant more along the lines of through the card game, you understand kind of the strategy involved and like how it has to happen this way because there's no other way.
It could be.
Like that's kind of what I felt about it. That final one that they played, it was like this is the only play and it sucks, but like this is how you win, you know?
Maybe. So I think at the start of the book, Malkador's like, I've definitely gotten advice from the cards, and like the Emperor's used the games to like explain his strategy, and at the end he does. He is using it to explain his strategy, and because like the final piece is a serpent tearing the heart out of a viper or something, right? Like a serpent.
Yep.
It's like, okay, great. The Emperor plans to kill Horus. That's a great strategy. Thanks.
Solid plan, man. Way to go.
It's more of an outline of the brief, but okay. Oh.
And then there's this whole thing where the Emperor wants Malkador to play Horus's part, and then like spends
Dresses
2
him
minutes
down.
negging him into the ground.
Right. He's like, you're worried about failing me when you can't even be angry when I need you to be. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I wonder if the Emperor was maybe being a little honest there. Like,
Yeah.
because he kind of has given his entire life just doing whatever the Emperor wants. And, like, founder of the bureaucracy of Terra, whoop-de-doo, the Emperor's like, that's a thing that just needs to happen for all this to work. It's not interesting, it's not important. It's a thing I needed to have happen and didn't want to do myself.
Right. Well, but even like he sees the Primarchs the same way, and they think for themselves and do whatever they want to some extent,
He
varying
calls the
extents.
Emperor, he calls the Primarchs his sons in this, which is interesting. Like, it's not
Yeah.
it's very important in some of the other books that he's like, yeah, they're my blood, but they're not really my sons. He's very
Yeah.
cold father. I don't know.
They're tools.
I'm just saying, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the back and forth of like, oh yeah, that is the board. I see everything that's happening. But maybe that's just like, I enjoyed it with hindsight because I know I have all the information.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking. Maybe after I've read all the Siege of Terra stuff, I'll be like, oh, this is a lot better.
Maybe you'll go back and read The Board is Set by Gav. Okay.
Yep. I'll take 2 minutes.
Yep. I'll set it. I'll put a calendar event in 6 months for you to go read that.
Deal. Deal. What else is in here?
Falcon reads The Board is Set. Yeah, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna add guests. This will be just for me. Great, safe. Children of Sikaris.
Which one's that? I'm bad with titles.
That is the one with Corpheiron and the Wordbearers. Your other favorite legion.
Oh, right. That one was funny.
I laughed at that, yeah.
It is really good. Yeah, Corpheiron and these word bearers are like stranded on this planet. They don't know where Fulgrim is. Everything sucks. They run into like these multiple people who have prophetic powers on this planet that are like, yo, what's up? The Legion can be reunited with Fulgrim if Corpheiron dies. Isn't that great? Aren't you glad to sacrifice yourself in order to have this amazing thing happen? And Corpheiron's like, nope, not at all. I am in no way interested in this future.
Right.
He's the best.
He's like, they were false prophets and lies. Burn everything. And they're being chased by like some woman who's trying to become a demon for Zinch, and she's like, tell you what, if you guys help me become a demon, I'll let you live here after I leave, and like you'll have this like I believe Sikaris is like the demon world that the word bearers eventually call home in the demon in the Eye of Terror, right? Like it's after the events of the siege, they all run, right? And they all get their own little homes. Like you probably didn't know it, but the Iron Warriors, one of the head nods in the last episode of the podcast 2 weeks ago, from the head nod book, was I think Podorabo, or one of the Iron Warriors, has a vision of a world with like a black sun, and it's like, oh, okay, yes, that is a reference to Ray McNeil's other book, Dead Sky Black Sun, I think, right? And their home world is like has a black sun, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it, cool.
Okay,
Tips
here we
count,
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Sikaris is like their home world that they take over after Cultures maybe burns. It definitely sounded like it was going to be burning, or it could be burning, or would be burning.
Yeah, 100%.
Do this, and she's like, great. So Core, Pharaoh, buddy, pal, let's just put, let bygones be bygones. You help me become a demon, and I'll let you live here.
Everybody wins.
Sounds great, right? And he's like, yeah, okay, shake on it. And she starts like, I don't know, eulogizing, screaming about how close she is to becoming a demon, and how everything's gonna be great. And Core Pharaoh's like, psych, cuts her throat.
Classic Corpharon.
Yep.
That's him.
That's him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it, isn't it? Because
it is.
Memory serve, that's where the book ends.
It is. And like part of it is like you guys have this gift of prophecy. Like you don't know that Corpharon is a bitch. Like none of this future seeing stuff is like, here's the man you're trying to make a deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Like figure it out. Because I knew what he was going to do.
Like
I've never read this before.
The man literally has no heart and feeds on betrayal. Like
Right. So yeah, it just part of me was like, all right, like how good are your prophetic powers? You can't like read who this man is that's standing in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It was funny though. I definitely laughed. And like the other 1,000 sons are like, you're in charge. All right, man. Sounds good.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yep, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once again, just more explaining set piecing for later, like you said.
Oh, the entire book is like the entire anthology here is set piece. I mean, it's literally called Heralds of the Siege. It's entirely designed to be set piecing for the final fight.
Gotcha.
Even if some of these characters don't show up in the final fight, like I don't think, I guess spoilers, but like the Thousand Suns guy with the shard of Magnus, he personally I don't think he's in any of the books.
Oh, okay.
Right? There is another like novella that they do. That like the Siege of Terra is I think 9 or 10 straight books, and there's entirely two offshooting novellas to read. One is called The Fury of Magnus, and it's Magnus looking for that shard, right? So he's kind of there, but this guy, I don't think the Space Marine, this guy, I don't remember his name already. It's like Avide, I don't know. Arvind,
Sure, that sounds right.
Arvindo, Iacton, I don't know. I don't think he's actually in it. So it's like most of this is just set dressing and stuff like that. But most of these characters turn up somewhere. Most of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's the story of Typhon / Typhus.
Yeah.
And his ascension.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know this guy. I read a couple books with this dude in it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And
he's shown up a couple times, and I'm like, he is suspiciously not corrupted yet. He is just a dude.
Oh yeah, you've read 40K books with this guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He is.
Like, he is distinctly different here.
Yeah. He's just a guy. He's making best friends with Luther, sort of. He kind of ghosts him after a little while. He's like, no, you don't need to come into our ships and see what's going on over here. Don't worry. Just thanks for the support.
Thanks for the assist,
dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Luther's hanging out. He's like, all right, I guess we're kind of friends with these guys, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sends one of his dudes to go spy on what they're doing and like why they don't want any help and why they won't let them near their ships.
Right.
And so it turns out that like these random people, these random villagers on this planet are like warp fucked, and like they know Typhon's gonna be Typhus, and they're like, this is awesome. Like, you're gonna be so cool.
Right. Yeah.
And Typhon's like, what are you talking about? You crazy, weird, random, mortal humans that look boring and sick. Yeah. So then the question is, so eventually, like, gosh dang it, Luther's Legion, those guys.
Oh, the Dark Angels.
Dark Angels, thank you. So the Dark Angel guy is spying on all of this, and he sees these villagers like turn into demons and like
Like,
their mouths open and flies come out of it, and it's all this stuff.
mm-hmm.
But then the people who are on the other side of the wall, Typhon's people, are watching it and they don't see any of that. So like, what the heck's going on? Because he like goes in there and starts like hacking the villagers to pieces. He's like, demons, kill them all.
Right.
And the dudes on the other side of the wall who are watching are like, he went nuts. He just started executing these random villagers for no reason. What the hell, man?
So,
Okay.
I think this is in reference to the fact that the Plague Marines and Nurgle's children all think they're normal people, and like the disease and the rot is all just lovely. Like, it's all great. Why wouldn't anyone want a hug from a great unseen one? You know?
Okay. All right. That makes sense then. So yeah, to somebody within, it all looks very normal, and they can't understand what is causing other people to see them the way that they do.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
If I had to guess, you know.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. So this is just basically the moment that Typhon becomes Typhus, effectively.
Effectively, yeah.
Corrupts his legion, and then has a very, very long life after this. He is around for a long time.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what other books which ones haven't we talked about? We haven't talked about Myriad, which is the first one, which takes us back to the Red Sands of Mars.
Oh yeah. Man, I forgot about that one. It was so long ago. First book. First story in the anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that the lesson of this story is, boy, do we hate artificial intelligence. But if it will help us take down the forces of evil, okay.
It's a problem for another day. Yeah, so they find there's a short bit where they're like, oh, we're in a digging machine, and we're on our way to cripple some Titans waiting to leave the planet because, you know, Dawn's got it blockaded, so none of the Chaos ships can pick up the Chaos Titans.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, sweet, we did it. We crippled them. We just need to leave. And then while they're leaving, they get a distress call from some scavengers who are like, well, man, scavenging stuff is really useful for the rebellion here. We better go help them.
Yeah. And if they get captured, they'll tell everybody where our secret base is, so that sucks.
Also probably a bad thing to have happen to the rebellion. So it turns out that the scavengers had found like a Castellan robot, which is like a kind of cool, badass looking robot. It's neat. And apparently super powerful, super rare. And so like, sweet, we can't sense any corruption in it or any taint or anything. Let's bring it back with us.
And they also bring back some dude.
Some dude, yeah. What's his name? Like Lank 4 of 12?
Yeah, they pick him up and they're like, we do need people for this rebellion.
Yeah,
it's risky, but we'll bring him, we'll put him in quarantine in case he's corrupted some way that we can't tell. And if you can, you know, get through quarantine, then fine, we'll fit him out and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they put him in the same room as our artificial intelligence robot. And dude starts freaking out. He's like, this is not okay. You cannot keep me in here with this thing. And they're like, oh no, the robot has corruption. It's been totally, it's, you know, it's chaos. It's bad. It's evil.
It must be. It looks like it's completely burnt out and dead, but, you know, we're tapping into it, and it seems like its parts are okay, though. Like, why is this guy freaking out? And then it starts taking over the base and the system, and then the guy's like, haha, it was me all along. I've got the tracker in me. You were worried about the robot, but it's me. And then you realize there's kind of two plots happening at once. One is this person was bait, like to recruit and like have a homing missile, a homing signal
in his stomach.
In his stomach, yeah. And then the robot is actually artificial intelligence capable of like destroying.
Decontaminating corruption.
Yeah, which is seems
What?
like a super useful thing.
Which is holy crap. Yes.
I mean,
Because, like, I've read 40K books and they don't have anything like that in 40K.
no, could you imagine if I did? Oh god, the Imperium would be unstoppable.
Yeah, it'd be over. There would be no 40K. We would be at 40K and everything would be done.
Right.
Yeah.
And so basically what happens is the mechanicus people here are like, well, it knows what it's doing. It doesn't think us as a threat because it thinks the chaos, the dark mechanicum, they're the threat, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Maybe
Right.
it's a heretical weapon for a heretical time, Falcon. I feel like this is a good idea. Let's give it access to everything in the base.
Well, yeah, the way they say it that I thought was so funny is like, all it wants to do is take over the planet. And it doesn't think that we can stop it, but it thinks that the forces of chaos can stop it. So that's what it's worried about. It's like, it's not that it likes us, it just doesn't think we're a threat to what it's trying to do.
There's a great bit where it's like trying to work out how to talk to them in binaric or whatever, and it's like attack, subjugate, reinforce, expand. You know, first the
Yeah.
planet, then the solar system, attack, subjugate, reinforce, expand, and then the galaxy, attack, subjugate, reinforce, expand, the universe. You know, and they're like, oh, this is who our best friend is now. Cool. Does it have a plan? And it's like, yes, it has a 14,000 step plan. We better get ready. It's laid it out very fine detail, everything they need to do in a 14,000 step plan. I love it.
Yeah, it's super great. So wait, it kills chaos corrupted things and then decontaminates it.
I don't know if it
Because like when they find it, they find these heretical
Skitari. Some of them
Skitari, but
Well,
they're
they're all
dead and they're clean. They're cleansed.
I mean, it's a real chicken or egg if it kills them and then cleanses them, or does it cleanse them, which kills them?
The cleansing process kills them.
It's possible.
So, but like, what's the point of the cleansing? Like, you know what I mean?
To make the tech safe for integration. To make
okay.
To make that a resource.
Okay, so it turns into usable tech instead of tech that you just basically have to like burn.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my only guess. Like
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Yeah. So at the end of the book, they're like, this thing is terrifying, but also we can win the war on Terra. Or on Mars. So let's go. Yeah, that was really fun.
It's a good one. I really like that one.
Oh, and then there's another story where some heretical forces are taking down Titans.
Uh-huh.
And the Titan blows its core and everybody dies.
Yeah.
Again, fairly short story.
A very short story.
Yeah.
But, I believe it's the Legio Audax. They're like a pack of Warhound Titans. They're the littler Titans, right?
Yeah.
They all have spears on their right arm, so they can like pull down bigger Titans and like kill them. Like, so it's a hunting pack kind of mythology that they're going for, right?
Yeah.
And in the middle of like a fight where they manage to take down a Warlord Titan, a loyal Warlord Titan, one of the other pack members is like, nah, it's my turn to lead. Because I'm a psychopath. I've been hanging out with the World Eaters. It's strength of arms that matter, and they're all standing around arguing when the Warlord Titan's reactor detonates, and that's the end of the book.
Right. And I'm like, you guys, you are clearly very good at doing this. You clearly understand the threat that when you take a Titan down, there's a greater than 0% chance they're just going to blow their reactor. Why are you standing around? You can have this argument somewhere else. It's great because they just hear the sound. They hear the sound of the reactor starting to like blow, and they're like, we can't run far away enough, fast enough that it's gonna save us. So whatever, man. Yeah. So dumb. Good times though. Made me laugh.
Yeah. It's good, good, good.
Those are fun. I mean, I really do. I always do like it when it shows those like hunting warhound mechs taking down like hunting titans, because it's like generally Titan shows up on the battlefield and it's like, ah, we're all dead. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's something that can try to at least take
Yeah.
these suckers down. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I mean, Myriad, the book there, also is like, yeah, they're vulnerable at their command centers. Like, if you
Right.
can get to its feet in the middle of combat and climb up the thing, right? It's risky, it's dangerous, but like, yeah, a couple of melter charges on its head will kill everyone inside, and that'll also cripple this thing, you know? Um, it's easy to do when it's deactivated, like was for them, but you know, it's it. Yeah, like Titans are colossal god engines, just monsters on the battlefield, and but like, yeah, there are ways to kill them.
Yeah. I saw a Reddit post or a Facebook post or something that was like, how big you thought Titans were when you first read about them. Then it's like how big they actually are, and they describe how big they are, and then I'm like, so I need to do this apparently because I have an image in my mind of how big they are, but I'm probably wrong.
You might be wrong. I have a
Are they
Warlord Titan.
are they standardized in height? Like all Titans are pretty much the same height, or are there like
So
much bigger ones?
there are 3 or 4 classes of Titan. There's Warhound, Reaver, Warlord, and then Nemesis, or sometimes Warbringer Titans.
Hmm.
They're more like, those last 3 are more like variants, and they're all kind of the same height. Oh,
Because
there's
they
also
talked.
Imperator, but that's, there isn't a model for them. They don't make models for those.
Oh,
Warhounds are very small. They're only slightly bigger than a knight, right? So like
then a what?
a knight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Really?
so knights are like
Like,
3 or 4 meters tall. Warhounds are
yeah.
like 5 or 6. Yeah.
Baby Titans.
Baby
Okay.
titans. Baby titans.
Yeah,
Do,
yeah,
do, do,
yeah.
do. Yeah. Um,
Huh.
Reavers are again slightly bigger, and the official height for a warlord titan um, is kind of whatever the author wants it to be.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Yep, that makes sense.
Yes and no. So officially they're around like 30 to 50 meters tall, right? The problem is one of the books got localized for America, and they translated it into feet, which is like at 50 meters, that's like 150 feet, right? It's around
Okay.
there. But they didn't,
Yeah.
they changed it, but then they kept the meter tag. Like, they kept the unit as meter, but changed the thing. So now there is a book that says Warlord Titans are 150 meters.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. Which is why, eh. And again, okay, so even if you take the 32-meter idea, 32 meters sounds quite a lot smaller than 150 meters, and like you put that next to a building, and it's like, yeah, there are skyscrapers bigger than a 30-meter tall walking robot. But I saw someone standing next to a picture, not a picture, just an earth moving machine from like an excavation for like a
Yeah.
mine, and it's like, this is a 5-meter tall vehicle, and it towers over him. Even if it's 30 meters, that thing is going to be huge to an actual person standing next to it. It's
Totally.
like, whichever it is, it's probably fine. Like, the height of a Titan is fine. I think there are probably some instances where you have to go, well, okay, but like this book says that they can hold like a company of people like in their legs as storage compartments. That's like
Yeah.
200 people, 100 in each leg. Yeah, that's not a lot of space for like in 30 meters, you know?
Right. Like the math is not mathing.
Right. And there are interviews with some of the authors about like the Siege of Terror and the planning they did. And Dan Abnett has this great line where he, I think it was Dan Abnett, where he says, when we were thinking about how big we wanted to make the siege in the palace, we needed to like actually sit down and like have a map and work out how big it is, and not just like, well, it felt big on the day when I was writing it big. And
Yeah.
that's how Titans feel. They feel big on the day, and as long as they fit in like the narrative, I don't care. Like not really.
Dude, there's a line in the anthology we just read where he's like, when the sun comes up on the far side of the palace, it takes 4 hours for the sun to
Right.
reach the far side of the palace.
Uh-huh.
That's a very specific amount of space.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, so we got it. We did it. I don't know what it is. It's
Yeah.
really big.
It's all of Asia basically.
Yeah.
It's 4 time zones. If you think about it like that, it's more or less 4 time
Right.
zones.
It's 4 times. That's America.
Yeah.
America is exactly 4 time zones.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Again, time zones are political constructs, not exactly hard lines in the dirt about where the sun is at the time, because that's why they do the ziggy-zaggy things in a lot of places, where it's like, well, this country wants to be a part of this time zone, so the time zone looks like that, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not. Yes, generally. I'm just
Like,
saying.
I'm
Generally,
just saying,
there are
if you-
4 time zones in the contiguous America states.
But, okay, so if you take this... Time zones suck. If you take America and, like, well, the planet, and divide it equally into 24 time zones, right? Because that's how many there should be. How many would there be across America, or is that 4? Is it evenly divided? Are the time zones bigger at one end, smaller at the other? Is the middle one slightly chunkier? I don't know. I've never looked at the map of American time zones. Like,
They're not. I mean, yeah, they're all generally the same size. You're right. I mean, it's
but are they equal to with what they should be latitudinally and longitudinally, you know?
right.
With the globe. But, like, yeah, I'm happy to just say, like, there's a line where, in the book where from, like, one wall to the palace proper is 300 kilometers, right?
There you go.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a huge expansive space of like distance, you know.
Right.
And like I'm happy to say, because like in other books, the Imperial Palace is is described as being the size of a continent, right? Like it's massive. If we've said okay, 4 time zones, America's 4 time zones, the Imperial Palace is the size of America, but like centered on the Himalayan mountains, go for
Yeah.
it. Fine with that. Totally happy with that.
That is so big.
The Emperor's
Like
got big vision.
ridiculously big. Like unnecessarily big.
It's the administrative center of a galaxy-spanning empire.
Yeah, I guess.
You need a place to put all those towers with people with scrolls to like look over 12 times and burn and you know.
Why don't they have? I mean, do they? They should have like satellite offices on different planets out there, right?
They probably do. Yeah.
Like regional offices that you send your stuff to, and then if it's important, they'll send it back to Terra. But like a ton of stuff gets filtered out.
They probably do.
They probably do that,
Yeah.
and they still need a America-sized administrative building to handle all of that. There's too many people in the Imperium, man.
Yep. Too many people.
All right. Well, that's that.
I mean, yeah. We're not going to discuss all the books by the sounds of it, but I don't think it's necessary.
No.
No, the rest of the rest are all well written. I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
None of these are bad. Like you come out of them going, man, I was just completely bored by that. I feel like
I lost you for a second there. What was that?
none of the books you come out being like, man, I was really bored reading that. I don't think that.
Oh no. Well, none of them are long enough to get bored. Like if
Yeah,
you start
that's
getting
a
an
fair point.
inkling of like, I don't know if I like the story, it's over.
It's an excellent point. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So what do we want to read next?
I think Path of Heaven
Okay.
is probably a good one. That apparently pulls in Fulgrim and White Scars into like one book, and hopefully
That's
that'll be
interesting.
like wherever Fulgrim's fucked off to and how the Khan gets to Terra. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about. So this is again tiny story. One of them. it's like this representative Horus goes down to a planet and is like, capitulate to Horus. And the guy's like, I don't know.
No.
It's like, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, these guys are like, we're not going to capitulate to Horus. And then Horus unleashed a demon on the planet and everybody died in 10 seconds. The end. And the guy's like, oh, all right. The end. That was that story.
Mhm.
And I was like, friggin' Horus warp fuckery bullshit. Like, that's not fair. Like, this guy's like preparing for invasion, and it's like none of this matters. Like, it's just warp fuckery that beat you. He's like, ah, bummer.
Yeah, I mean, up until that point, fun story about like Horus being like, I am a tactical genius, and the other guy's like, well, I'm
Yeah.
a robot who's going to calculate the odds of victory, and it's like, well, my projection says we can stall them here for months. That's great.
Yeah.
We're gonna die, but boy, is that great. And Horus is like, all right, down to the planet. There's nothing important here. I'm gonna summon a demon and kill the planet in 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like he cheats. It's not cool at all. It made me respect Horus less. I was like, aw, seriously?
Why didn't he save that Pokemon for Terra, I wonder?
Well, I assume he has more Pokemon. Like, there's more than one demon out there, right?
It's true, but this one was like a specific one. He had like a red ball he literally threw it out of, right? He did.
This guy was special.
Maybe it was.
I'm just saying, nothing I've learned about the Void tells me that that was the only one who was capable of doing this thing.
You know? Probably
Maybe
not.
it is. Maybe it is.
Maybe it might not be the only one capable, but it might be the only one that Horus had, right? He doesn't know where they spawn. He got it from Professor Ulrich. And he doesn't know where to catch the rest.
Well, right. So then in that case, your point stands. Why not save it for Terra? Why
Well-
waste it on this stupid planet that doesn't matter?
Probably because Terra has actual Space Marines to fight this thing and could, right? Like this Guitari could maybe not deal with it. Although, I don't know. Again, the Mechanicus make all the weapons and technology for the Astartes. Why are their gear so much more shit? And
They're not biologically enhanced with steroids, obviously.
Yeah, so I mean, the real reason is because the Mechanicus are played like techno necromancers. Like that's the theme that they went with for like the army in the board game or the tabletop.
Necromancy.
Yeah, so the idea is like all of the Skitari and stuff are kind of like technological zombies or skeletons. Like that's the feel for how the army should work.
Like raised from dead bodies.
Well, or like vat-grown people and then cybernetically enhanced to be useful. Like think of
Okay, because that's not technically necromancy if you're growing them in vats.
I'm just saying it's the
How it
theme
feels.
Yeah, it's like there's one guy in control of a bunch of like mindless-esque drones, you know?
Yeah.
And so they play as a horde army, which means they don't have a lot of great people. It's like you win with weight of numbers. But like in the lore, they're also like the masters of technology, so their technology should be really good, right? Yeah.
You'd think so.
You'd
Yeah.
think so. But yeah. What was I saying?
Anywho.
Anywho.
Yeah. And I mean, also, it makes a good story, right? It's like you're talking about with the Night Lords. Like the story of what the Night Lords will do to you if you don't listen to them is really bad.
Yeah.
And this story of Horus summoning some terrifying demon to conquer your entire planet in 15 minutes is also pretty bad.
Like, are we even sure that he had this Pokemon and he
Right.
used this on this planet, or is this just the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's just a story. You know,
I mean,
maybe.
who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Anywho. Okay. Got it. Got the book. Yeah, I did want to talk about Pluto a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So, anime on Netflix called Pluto. It is. I didn't realize this until like 3/4 of a way through this thing, but it's set in the Astro Boy universe. Which, if you don't know what Astro Boy is, it's basically this manga story where this robot developer loses his son. He's really sad about it, so he builds a new son that's a robot. And like initially, I don't think tells him that he's a robot. He's just, "You're back. This is great."
Right.
Just messed up. But then he turns out Astro Boy's a hero, etc., etc. There's this whole world around it, and that's what this is.
So I'm looking at the Wikipedia, um, just to be like, actually, it's based on Astro Boy, but it is
Yeah.
not officially set in Astro Boy.
Well, close enough, man. I'm telling you, it's close enough. I've watched
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Fine. It can be technically not the Astro Boy universe.
Right, like the X-Men technically isn't the MCU, right? But it's
Kind of like that, yeah.
okay.
Anyway, it is slow as balls. It is one of the slowest shows I've ever watched. Everybody walks at 1/4 speed everywhere. It is the slowest walking. There are so many conversations. The show is like, here is 55 minutes of conversation, and then something amazing will happen. End of episode. And I'm like, okay, but that was a lot of nothing, man. Like, can we change the ratio here a little bit?
Is the conversation good?
It's trying to delve into really interesting ideas about human psychology and like robots who are self-aware. Are they people? Classic stuff in science fiction, right?
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know that the dialogue is particularly great.
Okay.
Like, at no point am I like, this conversation is amazing. I'm like, it's good. It's competent. I get what they're trying to do. They're delivering the message. It's good. But it's not good enough that I'm like, 45 minutes of this is something I need today. Yeah.
So, I want to two notes of thought that I have. One is
Go ahead.
One of the animes that I'm watching at the moment is on like season 4. It's like I was reincarnated as a slime.
Of course.
He basically like builds a little town, and the town's slowly growing, and the rest of the world slowly gets involved. And it's kind of political intrigue, a little bit, partially like isekai power fantasy, because the guy's got a ton of powers, even though he's a slime. He's got to fight other demon lords because they have their empires, and like he's making an alliance with them, and so it's partially like world build, power fantasy fun, but it also wants to be that political intrigue where it's like, okay, we're now gonna have these characters sit around and talk for 6 episodes.
There you go.
They're gonna have an episode planning a meeting with other kings and like rulers of other nations, and as they all gather together, someone will show up with something to talk about and have to delay the conversation to have another one. And it's like, oh my god, it is. Oh, it is so much talking, and there's a quote that is like, make your story a story of people talking, not people talking about the story.
Yes.
It feels a lot like people talking about the story. It's woof. So I kind of know what you feel like, because I'm still tuning back in every week, and I'm like, do I really want to watch this today? Will this be the day where they get to like the Colosseum fight that they've been building up to for 6 episodes? Who knows? Second thought is, there is a stage play of Pluto.
Oh, okay.
Which
that's interesting.
I would love to see if that's also slow.
It can't be. You can't sit through this much talking in a stage play. You have to like wrap it up within 2 hours.
You think so?
Well, to kind of spoil this thing,
go for it.
They keep the pattern of the show is, here is a robot. Let us introduce you to this robot, and let us show you how kind of human it is, and in the ways you care about this robot. Now the robot is dead. Moving on, here is a robot. Let us introduce you to this robot and show you how human it is and make you care about it. Now this robot is dead. It's like, why are we doing it this way? Seriously. It's like, we give you no indication of any other robot characters in this show. Episode 1 is a robot. Conversations. He wants to learn how to play the piano. He doesn't want to be a war robot anymore. He feels bad for all the people he killed in the robot wars. Oh, end of the show, end of the episode, he dead. Never comes back. It's like, next episode, here's a new robot. We're going to do the same thing. I don't know. I don't get why they did it that way. Can't quite figure it out. Because another way you could have done it is introduced all of the robots at the start.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they get killed off,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It would feel different. It's just a weird way to do it. I don't think I liked it.
Okay. I mean,
So
that's...
here's Pluto.
Yeah. You might be able to find some clips on here if you want to watch. Reddit apparently is telling me that there isn't a full recording of a stage show, but, you know.
There are clips.
There are clips.
Why are there no robots here? What is going on?
The people are robots.
But
Are they not using, like, would they not use human actor for the robots? So the robots not look human?
some of them do.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if I like this. There are 10 dancers on stage alongside the actors. Yeah, so it's just like these two actors are acting with each other, and then there are just like these people dancing around them.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Okay.
Isn't that what all stage shows are?
No, definitely not. I mean, some, absolutely.
Right.
Ooh, look, there's a robot in this one.
Yeah.
Wait, where'd my volume go? There it is. Go down, volume, down. I don't know. They're getting, like, metaphorical and, like...
Abstract. You know,
Yeah, that's the word. I don't know. I mean, it's trying to tell a pretty big, war is bad. Robots are people too. Power of friendship overcomes hatred. Like, that's a lot of what this is.
Sure.
Holy crap, they did build a huge robot for Pluto. That's rad. Okay, that's the coolest thing I've seen so far in this. The rest of it is boring.
Book tickets now, folks. I don't think it's being sold and shown anywhere at the minute.
It aired back in, or it was showed back in 2018.
Yeah.
That's a 2003 reinterpretation of Astro Boy for the modern age. Holy crap, it's from 2003?
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway, I don't know. It's good. Like, I like the characters, but I just think some of the structure and the pacing is bad. So it's a tough recommend.
Fair enough.
That's all. That's Pluto. That's my review.
Very well. Okay.
All right. My Hero Academia finished up. I've been watching that for the last like 3 seasons, but it's over.
Is it over or is it over for now?
No, I think it's over.
No, they haven't. They're not caught up.
What do you mean?
They're gonna go as long as the manga goes, aren't they?
Maybe the manga finished then. I don't know. Something's done.
I don't think it is.
There's a lot of people mad about the ending of My Hero Academia out there. They're all over Reddit today.
My Hero Academia final season? Let me just... So it's 9 months ago, somebody's asking, is season 7 going to be the last? Very unlikely. Top comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the first part of the last saga at most. So maybe it'll be...
You're talking about the anime or the manga?
The anime.
Okay. Because I think... it really seems like the manga is done.
Someone here is saying that the manga is currently on chapter 403. And doesn't say it's ended. Is it ended? I gotta go.
To the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, it's ends at 4:30. So they've got 130 chapters to do, and that's a lot for a single season.
So it says original run July 7th, 2014 to August 5th, 2024.
Yeah, okay. It just ended.
Yeah, that's what
But
I'm saying.
Hold on, was that the anime or the manga?
Manga.
And when did it end? August? Like this month?
Yesterday? Today?
Okay, so the anime is not going to include something that finished yesterday.
Right. No. Yeah, right. Sorry. The anime needs to catch up.
Right.
Yes.
There will be at
But the
least one more
story
season,
is
or like a
done.
movie or something, right? Like,
Yes, definitely.
yeah. Okay. Cool. I
Anyway.
mean, maybe. Oh God, do I watch that now? Like, I really enjoyed a lot of like season 1 and 2. And
Yeah,
possibly
certainly.
3. I don't remember where I stopped watching, but like,
I stopped watching when it's like, here's this new villain, 87 new characters you have to care about, and I was like, this is too much. I am out.
yeah, yep.
And Midoriya just keeps injuring himself brutally every time he fights, and I'm like, okay, either you figure out how to stop doing this, or I am not going to watch this anymore, kid.
Yeah.
Those were my motivations for stopping to watch.
It says here it ends when he kills himself throwing a Detroit Smash. Well, would you know? He's still hurting himself. It'd be great. It just ends on a random beat. Like, there's no story finale or anything like that. It just ends because he threw one punch too many.
That would be all. I mean, it would be appropriate. It would be a thematically appropriate ending for this kid because my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bummer ending though, from what I've read. People are mad about it.
Really?
Yes.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah.
Like
I don't know.
if you don't care, I can tell you what happens, how it ends up.
Go for it. I don't think I really care.
So people are mad because Deku ends up powerless
Okay.
and like teaching at the Hero High School 8 years later. And just like single, no family, no powers.
His mom's not
all
there?
he does.
Yuraka
Huh?
or Levitate
Nope.
Girls? Not like, I want to
Nope.
carve me a slice of that?
Nope. I don't know.
Really?
It's like maybe because he lost his power, she's not into him anymore. Who knows? Brutal stuff.
She's big.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You're a normie now. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, so that feels like a very narrow look at the ending. Like, either it could be that they're annoyed that not enough has actually been said about like what it's like 8 years later. Deku might be powerless, he might be a teacher, but does he really not have anyone? Did they just not include any actual like wrap up of what's going on in his life? Is his mom dead? Did they work out who his dad was? I don't know. And so
They did not. People are pissed because they didn't work out who his dad is.
oh, that feels like it's such an important thing.
I know.
Look, I get it, but like the rest of it, it's like okay, yeah, the actual meat and bones of what you've just told me, I'm not mad about. Like you can totally have all that as an ending. It's they're not telling you the rest, and I assume that's why they're mad. People aren't mad that he ends up powerless. It's because he ends up powerless, and we don't know why there's no one else in his life. You know?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's
my
it.
guess.
Sure. Possible. Part of it too, though, is that like the story is sold to us on this kid is working his ass off to be the greatest hero, right?
Right.
And he's powerless, and he's given this power, and like it's like oh, he's got a path now. He can do it, and he's like working hard, and he's getting his ass kicked all the time, but he's getting new powers, and he's figuring all this stuff out. And then it's like at the end, nope. He's a teacher. He has no powers at the end. He's not the greatest hero. Thanks for believing in us, and thanks for getting excited for his journey.
Falcon, he's a teacher, the greatest hero of them all. He has the power to shape young minds. Actually, what I will say, in all seriousness, I fucking called this 6 years ago on the podcast. I wouldn't know which episode was that I called it that like his path to be the greatest hero could end up with him just dead or dying, right, or not being able to hero. But he gets the title of greatest hero for like saving the world, you know, and like
yeah, that'd be better,
the greatest
honestly.
hero and being called the greatest hero are like. The intention that like they're playing with is that like it'll be a show where he's the greatest hero. He's like Superman in the new world, right? Like it's like, okay, here we have a superpowered dude doing super stuff, and like, but being the actual greatest hero doesn't actually mean you are a hero now. And like I
Yeah.
called this
Yeah.
on the podcast years ago, and so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Fair enough.
Being honest.
I mean, it's just I mean, what you're talking about is like a Magica Madoka twist,
I
where
don't think
it's
I've
like,
seen that.
have you not seen it?
I don't think so.
Like, spoiler alert, it's basically, it starts off being a magical girl show, like Sailor
Mm-hmm.
Moon. Like, you've been
Right.
chosen to fight monsters. You're awesome.
Sure.
And then, like, it turns out you can totally die. Like, the monsters they're fighting can totally murder them, and a couple of the girls, like, in the group get brutally killed. And it's like, holy shit, what did I sign up for? Magica Madoka is great. So yeah, so that would be like, look at this kid. He's all young and chipper and ready to go. And yeah, this villain just punched him through the chest and he's dead now at the end.
That kind of is, I guess, broadly speaking, Deku's experience, where it's like, yeah, you have the ability to fight people now, but it's taking a physical toll on your body every time
Yeah.
you do it. It's very. I don't know if this is a favorable comparison or not, but it's Unbreakable with
Ooh,
M. Night
yeah.
Shyamalan, where it's like, here's
Bruce
Bruce Willis, who's like maybe strong, and it's like he can do all this stuff, but like, is he a superhero? Is this a thing that is desirable? Like, it's that kind of like introspective look on like a hero, where it's like, the line from Bruce Willis always gets me. It's like, there are hundreds of people in gyms across America who can lift what I lifted. You know, he doesn't know if he's a hero or not. He's just a slightly stronger than normal guy. Is that a hero? And it's like, well, here's Deku breaking his body apart every time he goes into combat to like help people.
Yeah.
Is that also a hero? Or someone who's like, I mean, probably more literally, yes, because he's like sacrificing himself for other people is the intention.
Like,
But,
compared to just an indestructible hero who can't take any damage from anything. Yeah.
well, yeah, is he indestructible? Who knows?
Well, not thoroughly indestructible.
No.
He can be partially destructed all the time.
I've heard that the movies, the stealth sequel Split and Glass are all terrible. Right?
I've heard good things about Split.
Yeah.
Nothing good about Glass, though.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But like, I don't know that My Hero Academia really is going for that introspective look on like, but is it a society that is worth saving if its heroes are like, if its children are breaking their bodies apart to save people on the streets every day? You know, I don't know that that's the story being told.
I don't think so.
Mainly because it's maybe a little cynical, but like, Shonen Jump, you know, as a magazine where the manga airs or whatever, I don't know the right word for it, is very specifically published. Yeah, thank you. Is very specifically like a manga for like young teens, and I heard it described My Hero Academia, right, being like, oh, the reason why that they love this new show, a new manga, My Hero Academia, is the values that it imparts onto a growing modernized Japanese young audience, which is why in the first season, Levitating Girl has that bit about wanting to like do the job for money to help her parents, because her parents didn't want to go into the construction industry, and she just wants money. And it's like, okay, yes, making like it was a very like Japanese lesson that like doing something individually for yourself and for your family is a good thing. Like, you don't need to bend over backwards for like Japanese, like, it's a little tone backing of Japanese ideal where it's like, you should definitely go into the family business, because if your dad was a ramen shop owner and his dad was, you got to continue that. It's like, no,
Right.
your parents might push you to do other things. Earning money to support them in a way that like makes you happy and you still contribute to society is totally fine if it's not the like normal idealized version that they have. And there was a lot of
So it's like a progressive idea. Yeah.
right, and that's what like Naruto did as well, where it's like, oh, the outsider kid who, you know, has to learn to like get along and fit in society, right? because society in Japan is a lot of very conformist thinking, right? It's all about the group, and that's what Naruto has to learn how to do in his show, right? Like that, and I'm not saying that's wrong, right? Like obviously, books, movies, TV, art in general, like that, should have themes and messages to impart into people. That's a good thing, I think, in general, right? Doing it well makes it good and not preachy, because if it comes off preachy, people just put it down.
Yep. If you're good, you can kind of get away with preaching to some extent. But if you're bad and try to have a messaging, then people hate it.
I think if you're good, it comes across as having interesting ideas rather than being preachy, right? Like, that I think that's the general difference in those two things. And I just don't know that My Hero Academia by chapter 430 is going to appeal to me. Or, you know?
Yeah.
I think those ideas might be good. I don't know. I just don't know that I care. I just don't know.
It's reasonable. Totally. I don't think I'm going to watch the anime when it finishes up either.
No? Because it's over your 100 episode list rule?
I don't know if I have that rule, but maybe I should have that rule.
You totally had that rule at one point where you wouldn't watch anything over 100 episodes.
Sounds like a good rule, honestly. That's a lot of episodes, man.
Yeah. It might have been you wouldn't start anything with over 100 episodes and it was still airing. I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah, because how would I know if it's just new?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could get sucked into something in season 1 and then it goes to 100 episodes and I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
My rule. Holy smokes, like Tower of God.
I think I made that joke when My Hero Academia got to like episode 70 or something in season 3, you know?
You were right. You were right.
Tower of God.
Well, just Tower of God. That season 2 is up. Starting anyway on Crunchyroll.
Have you been watching it?
Yeah, I've been watching it.
I will make the effort to watch it then.
It's, but again, I think I've said this before on the pod. So I started reading the webcomic out on Webtoons. That's where it is. Webtoons. Yep. It is introducing hundreds of characters. It is like there are thousands and maybe millions of people trying to climb this tower all at the same time. And there are kingdoms and cliques and groups and political intrigues and all this stuff that the author's like, I really want you to understand all of this. And I'm like, I just want Bam to climb the tower. Can he just have a couple friends and they climb the tower and they win? No, says the author. We are blowing this thing out. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to go there.
But maybe they'll adapt it and it'll be good. They'll narrow it in focus. And
that might be good, actually.
Someone here on Reddit says it's disappointing.
The anime?
Yeah, season 2.
I mean, again, part of the problem with the show and the story is that a lot of it is climbing the tower means you take tests. So a lot of it is the author just being like, what is a test I can do? What is a creative idea I can come up with here that our protagonists have to defeat in order to get up the tower? And that's just it. It's over and over. You beat this test. All right, next test, next test, next test. And it's like, okay, this is getting a little repetitive, guy. Yeah. And I guess maybe that's why he blew it out later. Like after the 27th test, he's like, I'm out of test ideas. What can I do now?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading that somebody was like, so there was a post this Tower of God season 2 is disappointing, and someone here is like, you know what, I kind of like it, blah blah blah. I was really like, defending it, and then the first response to that is, you like trash, we get it.
Wow.
I'm like, oh yes,
okay.
Thanks Reddit, thanks for being helpful.
Look, season 2. So season 1 ends with Bam getting betrayed by this girl that he loves, Rachel, right?
Season 1 was incredible.
Season 1's great.
I love that ending where it's like, oh, she's a bitch.
She's one, not paralyzed. And 2, pushes Bam to his death.
Yeah.
Right after he like promises to take her up to the top of the tower, even though she can't walk Like, he is willing to do anything for you, girl. And you
Heartbreaking.
murder him in cold blood.
Heartbreaking. Yeah.
So good. So season 2 starts with like, well, what's Bam's state of mind now? And the answer is not good. And I'm like, fair. I'm okay with
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I like this story beat. Yeah. So that's, I do like that. I like what they're doing with Bam.
Is there a change in art style? Because it is, if I remember, a different studio making it, because it's been some time.
Yeah, it is better than season 1.
Better?
It's still a little rough.
I thought
Yeah.
season 1 was really well animated. It had a very distinctive style and look to it.
Well, because the webtoon's drawn in a really kind of distinct, its
Right.
own style. Yeah.
So season 2 is better, is what you're saying.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I remember a couple times in season 1 feeling like the animation was on the edges.
Sure.
And I don't remember feeling that way as much now in season 2.
Okay.
It's not bad. I don't think season 1 is poorly animated at all.
No, not even remotely. I would say it's
Yeah.
probably fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I will.
But yeah, season 2 is very much like, here's a test. We're going to take the test. There's going to be a horrible betrayal at some point. There's going to be some princess or prince or leader of a giant family that's going to show up and wreak havoc on everything.
Right.
And then we'll go on to another test. And it's like, all right. Fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and everybody loves Bam. Everybody who hangs out with Bam either like hates him or falls in love with him and keeps gathering followers, and he's basically Jesus.
He is anime Jesus. Yeah.
He is. Yeah, so Tower of God season 2.
Fair enough.
Righto. All right, good. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okay. Are you looking more Tower of God stuff?
Yeah, I was just going back through other things that are coming out this season and being like, is there anything here worth talking about? Anything? Any single thing? Just one? I mean, there's a show I'm having fun with, but it's not like... I don't think you'd enjoy it. It's just like...
Is it an isekai?
No, it's like a rom-com. It's like a high school rom-com is the problem. It's just like,
Okay.
I don't think it's really your vibe.
Speed.
It's funny, though.
Didn't we watch one? I swear we watched... We never watched like a rom-com anime before. At least me.
I know you've tried and been like, I get it. They like each other. That was it.
Oh, I remember that one. Okay, yeah.
Hormia.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So now
right.
if it doesn't have any like explicit action scenes, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna offer that one.
That's funny.
But if you want to watch it, if you want to give it a go, a show's called Makine, Too Many Losing Heroines. So basically, it's about girls who don't get the guy that they want, and like, yeah, I don't know. It's only like 4 episodes out, and like it's got some funny moments. That's about it.
All right, I'll bookmark it.
Yeah,
We'll add it to the watch list.
Yep.
Okay, give it a try.
Give it a
Fair. All right, excellent. Okay, time for us to wrap it up. That is going to be it from us. This has been Summercron and Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. You can see us live at twitch.tv/Summercron on Mondays in North America and Tuesdays if you're in Australia. Also, the VODs show up at youtube.com/@Somicron if you want to watch over there, or if you're already watching, then hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to support the podcast in other ways, you can go to patreon.com/Somicron and sub there, or by buying merch at falconpaladin.store.
All true facts.
So that's it. We'll be back in 7 days. If you want to read along with us, you know what book we're reading. And until then, stay safe and stay healthy. And above all, you take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Goodbye.